Sonder. That quiet shift that happens when you're sitting somewhere crowded, a cafe, a train station, a busy sidewalk, and you suddenly realize that every single person around you is living a life just as full and complex as yours. They have worries you'll never know about, losses they're still carrying, private memories that shaped who they are. For a brief moment, the world stops feeling like a backdrop to your story and starts feeling like a collection of stories, all running at once. Most people feel it and then it passes, but it was real, and it has a name. Limerence. Not a crush and not quite love, something more intrusive than either. It's the state your mind enters when it becomes fixated on one specific person. They appear in your thoughts without permission. You read meaning into small things, a reply that came quickly, a word they chose, the way they said your name. The hope of a single message can quietly become the thing your whole day revolves around. Psychology classifies limerence as an involuntary emotional state, meaning you didn't choose it, your brain did. And that distinction matters, because you can't reason your way out of something that started beneath reason.
Hiraeth, a word borrowed from Welsh, but the feeling it describes is something most people recognize immediately. It's a longing, not just for a place, but for a version of life you can no longer return to. A childhood home, a particular summer, a period when things felt simpler or safer or more like they made sense. The strange part is that sometimes the thing you're missing isn't even fully real, more like an atmosphere, a feeling of belonging that existed once in fragments and then quietly disappeared. Hiraeth is grief without a clean object, a missing without a clear source. Exulansis, the decision to stop explaining. You've been through something, a shift in who you are, a loss, an experience that changed how you see things. At first, you try to put it into words, but the responses don't land. People listen, but something doesn't translate. Not because they don't care, because the experience lives inside you in a way that language can't fully carry. So you stop. You tuck it away somewhere quiet. Exulansis is that process, the slow retreat from sharing the parts of yourself that feel untranslatable. Jouska, the conversation that only happens in your head. You rehearse what you should have said 3 days ago. You imagine what might happen if you finally said the thing you've been holding. You play out arguments, confessions, difficult conversations, entire exchanges with people who aren't even in the room. Sometimes this serves a purpose. Your mind is preparing you for something real. But more often, Jouska runs in loops that never resolve, and the conversation stays exactly where it started, inside. Monachopsis, the feeling of being in the wrong room. Not dramatically, not obviously, just a low, persistent sense that you don't quite fit where you are. The conversations feel slightly off, the interests don't match yours. You're present, you're functioning, you're doing everything right, but something about the environment feels misaligned with who you actually are. You can't always name it in the moment. Afterward, though, you feel it, a kind of loneliness that has nothing to do with being alone. Chrysalism, the specific comfort of being inside while a storm happens outside. Rain against the window, thunder somewhere in the distance. The contrast of chaos out there and stillness in here. It's not just warmth, it's a kind of permission to stop, to rest, to exist without needing to be anywhere or do anything. Psychologically, it connects to the nervous system. External unpredictability creates a paradoxical sense of internal safety. It's one of the quietest, most satisfying feelings a person can experience, and almost no one has a word for it.
Adronitis, the frustration of how long it takes to actually know someone. You meet a person who feels meaningful, interesting in a way that matters, and then you realize you're still months, maybe years away from the conversations you already want to be having. There's no shortcut. You have to go through the layers. Small talk, then something slightly less small, then trust, then finally something real. Adronitis is the impatience of wanting to already be there, at the version of a relationship that doesn't exist yet. Liberosis, the desire to stop caring so much. Not apathy, something more intentional than that. It's a wish, the wish that you could release your grip on outcomes, on what people think, on the version of yourself you feel obligated to maintain. People who feel liberosis are usually deeply aware of how much mental energy they spend managing things that probably don't need that much attention. They don't want to stop caring entirely, they just want to set some of it down for a while. Rubatosis, the unsettling awareness of your own heartbeat. Most of the time, your body runs quietly in the background. Your pulse, your breathing, the rhythms keeping you alive, all invisible to you. But sometimes awareness arrives unexpectedly. You feel your heartbeat, and instead of being reassuring, it feels strange, almost mechanical, like you've accidentally noticed that you're a body, not just a person. Rubatosis tends to appear in moments of stillness or anxiety, and it rarely stays long, but while it's there, it's strangely difficult to explain.